How's it going, everybody? My name is Ellie Gentro, and welcome back to another episode of Messy Future. This is going to be the first episode ever that I record, and probably that I recorded. Of course, if you're listening to this in the normal media like Spotify and stuff, you probably, of course, won't see this as video, but I will try to upload the video into YouTube. My YouTube channel, you guys know it, is Elite Gentro. I don't have a custom link like youtube.com/EliteGentro, but if you search for Elite Gentro, I will probably be the first to appear. So you guys probably see this thing right here that I have around me. It is my stream intermission screen. And I could choose between putting my camera as full, but I don't have a very good quality camera. I have my laptop's camera, which looks cool on a small size. And as it gets bigger, it just looks weirder and weirder and weirder. I decided to put this little blur effect that you will probably see glitching out with my microphone from time to time. I hope it doesn't show up a lot. But yeah, this is what you're going to be stuck watching for the rest of the podcast. You probably are going to see me move my hands a little bit at the start because I'm kind of used to doing that. Or looking somewhere that's not the camera. I'm kind of used to doing that because when I record the podcast, I normally just don't record my face. So it is something that you're going to experience. But just bear with me on this one. If you're listening to this in a normal streaming platform, welcome back. And thank you for being here again. I'm really happy that you like the content, and I hope that you're really enjoying it. Now, what are we going to talk about? Well, you clearly saw the title of the podcast episode. Well, maybe you didn't, so I'm going to repeat it for you. It's animal cruelty. I'm actually going to pick up my sources now. I closed my sources. Great. Anyways, I have two sources that I want to use today. I don't know the reliability of the sources. They seem reliable. One of them, the one that is a little bit... So I'm going to be giving two points to it. The in favor of animal cruelty and in against animal cruelty. How can you be in favor of animal cruelty? Cruelty. Let me explain. There is two sources that I'm going to list at the start so I don't keep citing them from time to time. Well, of course I will give them mention, but not explicit. But there's the European Animal Research Association, which I believe is one of them. Well, it is the one which is the most reliable. And the other one is humansociety.org. It is a society that is basically in charge of fighting things they basically fight for animals. If you look into the page, they have fights for fighting, for going for free, for improving the lives of farm animals, to stop the puppy mills, ending cosmetic animal testing, as we're going to talk right now, banning trophy hunting, etc. So I guess they are very into that. The European Animal Research Association is about to research. It's just researching in animals. And the other one is basically, we want to save animals. So they say this because they want to save them. They're not going to say something that's going to that's going to make people be in favor of killing or torturing animals, right? So let's go straight into it. Let's start by saying that animals are inferior intelligent race as how humans have defined intelligence. I have yet to make a video about the things I've learned while learning astrophysics this past 2 weeks, or astrology in general, basically astrophysics. I have learned a lot of things, and one of them is that humans define ourselves as intelligent, just because we are the most intelligent species we know about. And we are about 1%, we have a 1% change, more or less, in DNA than chimpanzees. I don't know, I don't have to cite from this, except Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. So, yeah. And we are 1% DNA change, and we cannot explain chimpanzees some advanced math. We can barely try to see if they can solve multiplication, addition patterns and stuff, but we are not able to show them complicated math because they just don't get it, because they are less intelligent than us. Intelligent is a word we have defined. Maybe some other civilization out there, if there exists any, has another definition for intelligence, and maybe to them we are not intelligent at all. So this is something that I heard from Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I am gonna say it right now too because it applies. Imagine there's a race that also has 1% DNA change, as we do with chimpanzees, but this time they do with us, and they are as intelligent as we are compared to chimpanzees. That is big. Like, imagine we're just chimpanzees in a world of humans. Like, we're never gonna be able to understand the whole universe just because of that, right? Anyway, there's philosophy and morals and stuff which say we don't really need to understand the universe, blah blah blah. I'm talking about science here. Imagine that's something that scares me. Like, there's a civilization that they go like, hey, little Stephen Hawking here, rest in peace, Stephen Hawking, great scientist. He's like our people in first grade, in elementary school. He knows how to solve like complicated equations in his head. The other ones don't. The other ones just know how to do like the basic stuff. But Stephen Hawking here, he's like closer to an elementary school guy. What about people in college? No, they're far ahead than Stephen Hawking. Like, this guy right here, he's failing, but he still knows more than Stephen. And it's like, wow. Like, imagine that can happen. And with the universe, with so many possibilities, you never know. So what makes us think that if we ever get a superior human race, however you define superior, I think that in this case, what it gives us the right to use animals for testing is basically that we feel the human race is superior to other races, such as animals, and that's why we feel like we can use them for food, use them for testing, use them for other many different reasons like clothing and stuff that aren't really necessary. Like, food may be necessary. People that are vegan may say it's really not. It depends on how you look at it, but food is something that you couldn't live with in general. Food. But just coats made out from animals fur, that's something you really don't need. As well as technically makeup. You don't really need makeup, but it's part of the society. It's like saying, let's ban cigarettes because it's bad for your health. And it's like, no, it's part of the economy. Like, if you try banning cigarettes, there's going to be millions of people against you. Even people that don't smoke, like, the economy is just going to be ruined. So, yeah, nothing tells us that, and if there's ever, like, if we ever find ourselves in front of a more intelligent race than we are, or superior race than we are, they're not gonna do the same as we do with animals. I guess it's the survival of the strongest in this point, and we can do this because we morally think that our human life is better than anything else because we're humans and we have a little bit more empathy on that. And people always try to put animals put us in empathy with animals, such as the video that has been going viral a lot, which is Ralph. It's something about Ralph, a bunny. I haven't watched the video complete yet, but I know what it is about. And I'm not gonna cite the video because I haven't watched it. That will be just dumb. So the video is about, as far as I know, bunny rabbit. I'll call it a rabbit. It's about a rabbit who shows like the tour of his life, and he is a rabbit that is used on testing for cosmetics, and he's being mistreated, tortured, and probably will end up dying because of what he's being exposed to. So why does this happen? Well, according to the Human Society of the United States, which is, I believe, it's a very unbiased opinion. It's just straight facts what they're saying. Let's search what they wrote. There you go. Why are some cosmetic companies still using animal testing? Well, the answer to that from them is when choosing to develop or use new blah 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 ingredients on their products, they have to make sure that it is safe. And then they add the opinion, which is the thing that I don't like. Like you could have just said that, but since they are an organization that is in charge of doing that, no blaming. They do say they're in charge of that. Of course, there's going to be bias. They proceed to state that, well, there are many safe ingredients already that are tested already, and there's no need to experiment with more. Therefore, no need to get new cosmetics into the market, new ingredients in cosmetics into the market, because there are already a lot of safe ones. Therefore, if no new cosmetics, no need for animal torture or cruelty while testing cosmetics. Well, yeah, I guess you're totally right. But those cosmetics that are safe were safe. How? Probably there are some of them that were safe because they were tested on animals. You know, they were tested on animals. They were safe because animals tested them. Probably they weren't safe at some point. Probably at some point that lipstick you got there, like, that is already safe. There's no need for a new kind of lipstick. But that lipstick, it originally was tested with a rabbit, just like Ralph. And because of that, Ralph was able to save the lives of many other rabbits that were to come, because that product will be needed to. There was no need to test the product again because it had already been tested. Wonderful. That is why I am you could say in favor of animal cruelty, but I don't like saying that. But I agree. People say, you're basically saying it? Yes, I am being open with that. I'm basically saying I agree with animal cruelty. Because you're listening to this podcast, you're not taking this out of context. You are getting the context of what I'm saying and explaining why I'm saying this. So that's the in favor part. The not in favor part, which also mentions it in this article, is the fact that there is, and I quote, human cell-based tests and sophisticated computer models to test the reliability of some sort. So this may vary. I know that there should be like forms you have to fill to know that your product is safe. It is illegal to use a product that is not considered safe. It is not illegal though. China, I think this year, made reforms for products that weren't actually tested on animals to be exported before they had to be tested on animals. So that's a great leap. Congratulations, China. That's an applause for China. And there's many other countries, but the EU took a step further, and all of the products that were tested on animals, according to this website, which I'm like, really? Because I know Avon is like, they do have some kind of animal cruelty, I think. They say that there was a ban on the EU, in the European Union, in 2013 from having this kind of products that were tested on animals. I don't know how true that is. I'm just saying what it says, but cool. It's cool that some countries do have a reformation, and it is extremely mandatory that products are not tested on animals. And that is why I'm against animal cruelty. It's like there's already safe ways. There is no need. If you want to develop a brand, you can do that with things that already exist. And you can live a happy life with using things that are already safety tested and without taking the lives of other animals. But yet, you did take the lives of other animals, had to sacrifice their lives. Of course, they didn't do it voluntarily. But animals died for that product to be safe, and no need for that product to already be tested with other things. Of course, there's other tests, but I just mean that it's like when you're getting an equation and there's like three forms of doing that equation in math. I'm actually doing that right now. Sometimes I get confused, and sometimes I will go for like factoring, if not the quadratic formula, if not replace the square, which I don't know how to do. I just, between you and I don't really know how to get the square. Like, it's kind of weird. But I'm kind of going over that. Anyways, that's between you and I. So there is many other tests, and if a company can do the other tests without harming other animals, it should be within the greatest of their heart to do it. Like, please, just, if you're a company of cosmetics listening to this, if you have alternatives, look for them. That's what makes our world a better place. That we look for alternatives, that we look for better things to do. And also an image it's yeah, you don't want your image to be harmed. Of course, many people will still buy Avon and all those the other companies. I'm saying Avon because it's the first one I saw in a post before I started this. But just think about any animal cruelty brand related, any brand that's related to animal cruelty. There's still gonna be people buying them. Of course, they will notice a drop in sales because of this raw video. Why am I mentioning the raw video a lot? Because it's a step. You know, it's like Black Lives Matter did have a big impact in African American rights, or just us how we see humanity overall. So this will also have this will also have an impact, if not already is having one. So yeah, if companies want to see themselves as better institutions, they should try to not use animals. But yet again, I'm not saying it's something horrible, something disastrous. Like, I always like giving other examples because yes, killing an animal, torturing an animal, it's torturing a life, and torturing a life is super bad. But there are many other things that happen like that. There are many things that have to be tested before going to the market. And that leaves me to my first example, and I think the only one that I research. It is vaccines. We have been seeing a lot of growth in vaccine activity ever since COVID struck us. And it is no surprise that COVID needed a vaccine. We needed a vaccine for COVID, and we got one. It was not simple. It took, I think, less than a year. It probably took a bit less than a year, but we got there. Well, it probably didn't take less than a year since the like sickness came out, but it did take less than a year since it was declared a pandemic, like since most of us knew about it and knew it was going to be trouble, and since most people started looking for one vaccine. So there was many increment in that. And who was testing the vaccines? Well, animals. And that leads me to my other article, the European Animal Association article, EARA.eu. I'm just going to cite one of the many cool informations they have in their site. It is: animal testing is critical to ensure the vaccine does not end up making the infection worse or even fatal. Therefore, it's like sending people into the army. Yes, I'm touching that subject. Thank you very much. We send soldiers to protect us. We have forces to protect us in case there is a disaster. We have animals to protect us against their own will. Yes, because animals don't have a will or a way of expressing it. Okay? There is no way of explaining to animals what they can do, except if you tell them you're gonna die. Testing products, which nobody will ever agree on. So, yes, animals are also our soldiers in many things. Animal testing has existed for a long time, and it's not only cosmetics. And what brings me here, yes, I have said, if you can avoid animals in cosmetics, do it. It is just like businesses that pollute. You see, like, I admire those businesses that take that extra leap, maybe even lose money, but they have the image of being green, the image of being good for our environment, the image of saving Earth. That's super cool, and a big applause to those guys. But there's still no law, or there's regulations, but there's still not a big law that gives companies the complete just shutdown of things that pollute the environment or over pollute the environment. In my country, here in Mexico, there has been a lot of trouble with that. There is a thing that people do where there are sanctions. People used to say, we're gonna apply sanctions for those businesses who are still polluting the environment. Well, look at that. The sanction is cheaper than what it actually will cost the companies to change to environmental friendly environment. So they just keep polluting and pay the fines, and that's it. So there will be, like, it's like a little kid. When you take their toy away, but the other kid still has their toy, they'll complain. Why does he get to have his toy? Well, why does vaccines get to have animals? Because they save lives. it's a business, and people will say, but vaccines could also use human cells. Yeah, makeup too, and we live in a society that aspires perfection, and but it is a society that aspires perfection, but is full of imperfection. And the only way of achieving perfection is knowing what is imperfect. As a wise man all said, I'm not going to quote him because I don't even know who said this. I just know it exists. Maybe I said it. Maybe I'm the wise man. But take a look at this. Like, just listen to this. Like, we will never know what is perfection. We would have never gotten to the term perfection without imperfections. If you will say perfection, the first thing that comes to someone's mind is no mistakes. A perfection lacks mistakes. It's like cold. Cold lacks heat. Perfection lacks mistakes. And we needed to know that mistakes were mistakes to know that something that doesn't have that is perfect. Or doesn't have mistakes, it's perfect. Yeah, basically. So we can't live in a society where we just achieve something without making mistakes. Math, it's about making mistakes. Society makes mistakes. And what happens to society? We don't learn from them. We have communism, I'm not saying communism's bad. I don't want to get into that argument already. I think I have something about communism in the podcast. You can look it up. But, man, we have made so many mistakes during our time that I really don't wish we repeat them. And I hope you don't wish we repeat them either. It's just so bad. It is bad for society, and it is bad for everybody that we don't notice the mistakes we commit. And if brands have noticed that if they try to use alternatives to animal cruelty, and at the end they end up getting sued for like twice of what it would have cost them to use animals, then they will use animals, because we live in a world where we should just increase efficiency. The better the efficiency of a product or of the making of a product, the better. If they use a cheaper option, they will get a cheaper price, therefore more customers, and customers are more happy. As a person, what you can do, it depends on your morals. If you are, as I talked about it before on the abortion topic, if you are someone that doesn't believe abortion is correct, don't abort. But if you do believe it's correct, go ahead, by all means. I'm not going to stop you. How can I stop every single person that is against what I think about? And that gets me to my next topic. No, it's not. No, this is for another podcast. My bad. I was going to talk about opinions, but not really fits into here. It's about morals. If you don't like animal products, research. Animal cruelty involved in products you use. Research. Researching is such a beautiful tool. You should use it. It's not only for school, it's for life. If you ever feel uncomfortable, look up the brand, look up the products you're using. If they have something you don't like, just ditch them. There's many alternatives in this world. But we are never going to progress if we don't try new things, if we don't make mistakes. And maybe Ralph was being tested on a product that would have cost 10,000 girls to lose their virginity because of a problem in a hormone. 10,000 girls would have been unable to reproduce themselves, to get a child, to get the experience of having a child, just because a product was poorly tested. And there was no way, they could have ever predicted that, because they used other methods that weren't as effective as animal testing. I'm not saying they are more effective or less effective. I'm not saying there will always be. But just imagine there's a mistake. Yes, there's also a mistake with animal cruelty. But what if that mistake could have been avoided by hurting a rabbit? Now, what am I doing right now? I'm doing exactly the same thing that video does to everybody. Even I. That video is putting you in a context where a bunny speaks, feels, and soars. Weeps for being in trouble, for being tortured. I'm putting you in a situation that we are familiar with. Maternity. A girl missing maternity is something that we hate. It's like, oh my God, it wasn't really her fault at all. She just took a beauty product that had a problem on it, and she ended up being like that. Of course, I don't know the science behind how that, like using a cosmetic can lead to losing someone's virginity. I know there's medicines that do that, but anyways, that's what I mean. There's always harm done, and people try to look at what is morally more correct. And I had a teacher, which shout out to that teacher if she ever listens to this. She probably won't, but Miss Michelle, if you're reading this, sorry, if you're listening to this podcast, first of all, hi. Second of all, she did one of the best questions ever in one of our classes. Do humans have a value? And the answer was no. We don't have a value. We're the same. But we do have a value because we want ourselves to have a value. Does somebody that you're emotionally attracted to have the same value as someone that you once saw in the grocery shop? Of course they don't, because for you, they have different value. It shouldn't be that way. I even feel bad thinking to myself, if I ever see my mom in danger and somebody else's mom in danger, I'll probably save my mom. Yes, that's awful. It's awful to think that way. We're awful beings. Yes, that sucks. And there's probably someone's gonna be mad about me saving my mom instead of someone else's mom just because it was my mom. And then someone's gonna be calling me stupid because I didn't save my mom, because I saved the other person. Like, it's always just a complete circle of you're right, you're wrong, I'm right, or society criticizing you. So it is all about the person. Let's conclude this podcast episode in like about 10 minutes or less. If you didn't understand anything that I said, I feel like a teacher right now. Now, pay attention here. There are many ways of seeing this topic, and what the video did was not show you that there was cruelty on animals. We knew that. Like, we knew there's cruelty in every single thing. There's cruelty in vaccines. Like, imagine how many monkeys or animals in general we lost because the COVID vaccines were faulty. How many vaccines killed an animal? How many beauty products have given, instead of 10,000 girls, 10,000 animals, like, just a condition where they cannot reproduce? But and I've said this before, there is no way that a problem can compare. Like, there is no, oh, you cannot complain about this because there's worse things. I know animal cruelty is awful, but it is allowed, and it is between our human hands to evolve and to modernize. So think what other things need to have cruelty to animals, such as vaccines, is the best example. There's many others, which I probably have also double-sided opinions about. The only thing that I think I am in favor related to animal cruelty is vaccines, because I am aware of the safety it provides to us humans. We have been able to advance to a society that's fighting COVID every time more. And to the people saying, I don't know what's in that vaccine, it's not 100% effective, therefore I'm not taking it until I'm sure it's effective. Bro, they're tested on animals. Even chimpanzees that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, at this episode, they were tested in animals that have about 1% difference in DNA. Yet different from us, totally, but there is difference. And thanks to our modernizing of the world, our use of the cards we have, and of our opportunities, we have been able to evolve and to prevent many things. So if you don't agree with what's in the vaccine because it's not completely % sure, I bet that the vaccine, even Johnson & Johnson, which is, I think, one of the most hated vaccines that are right now out, I think a vaccine like that is even more reliable than many cosmetic products that are just testing something new that has never been tested. Why would companies want to test products that are already safe in animals still? I don't know. Leave it to them. They're giving a bad image. That's something bad. It's morally bad. But don't be mad at life, because I have met people so full of hate towards the world because it's such a bad place. I don't want humanity to be seen like that. We have to live in the place we're living. We live in the time that we just decided to be here. I'm here because I'm here, and I gotta get this like 100 years or less, because let's say the age average, I know somebody maybe live between 80 and 90 years old. Well, the next 60, 70 years old that I have left, let them be happiness. Let them be progress. Let them be so that my children won't have to be mad about animal cruelty. Let it be so that my children actually say, "Oh my God, Dad, do you guys actually hurt animals for testing?" Because if we hadn't, maybe in 20 more years, then there wouldn't be a technology in which no animals need to be harmed. And congratulations, guys, we did it. But if the major companies, the ones that have the money, don't do things that are morally incorrect, we're probably not gonna advance, or advance slower. We have to test our products. We have to make sure that they're good, and even then they fail. So if you want to go ahead and make the change, make it. But don't try to make other people change in something that is morally right. If you see someone spreading the news that instead of using animals, we could be using humans, then you can tell them, "Hey mate, I know you have your opinions, but please, just don't spread them. Don't make people believe something that is not their opinion or someone else's." What teachers do is not spread their opinion. Teachers spread knowledge. A teacher's goal is, like somebody that educates, is not to pass opinions. That's why I always take that extra mile and that extra step into giving you guys both perspectives. I never say I have this better, and I do have a better perspective about this topic. I do prefer something, but I'm not saying it. Why would I? You are the one in charge of thinking what you want. And there's never a yes or no. You can say, "You know what? Elite is right. There has to be animal cruelty for modernity. But I am totally against companies that are using already approved products, but they just want to hurt the animals just to be sure." Yes, that's nonsense. If you think like that, go ahead. Adventure into the world thinking like that. If you think that I'm never ever going to use a product that was related to animal cruelty, I don't think life from humans or life from animals has a different value. If the product is not safely tested, I'm going to take the risk. And great, go ahead, take the risk. Prove many people wrong by saying I can live a life where my products are not related to animal cruelty. And to be honest, I'm proud of you. I can't. Or right now, I'm not. Maybe in the future, I will live a life where there's no animal cruelty involved in products. But from now on, but at least for now, they are involved. And maybe I'll try researching more on this topic, because it's something that is hot right now. It's something that we should be, like, the universe has given us this sight of pay attention to something that you might be doing wrong. But if you see someone spreading fake information, things like, did you know that vaccines are 100%, they're 100%, just, how do you call it, effective, and they just use it in animals because they want to see them suffer? Like, there's an evil scientist behind all of those laboratories that enjoys taking video of animals dying. Then you could shut them up, or shut her up, because they're spreading false information. They're making people believe something that is not true. As Neil deGrasse Tyson once said, You can believe on science or not. But you believing in science does not mean science is not real. Same thing goes for the earth. You can believe the earth is flat all you want. No one's gonna debate you because you probably won't accept it. But the fact that you believe it's flat doesn't mean it's not round. Or in the way that it is. It's not round. It's like actually a little bit more like like a neck, you know, from the poles because of gravity. So yeah, try taking the lesson here that it's very difficult to do something that some people are doing under some context and some people aren't, like vaccines and cosmetics. They're both things that can harm you on a different level, yes, but also human lives and animal lives are both lives, but they are on a different level as long as most human perspective goes. You can say animals are the same as humans. Yes, I agree with you. That's an opinion. That's a great opinion. You could also say that humans are more valuable than animal lives. Okay, go ahead. That's not either true or false because it's morality, and science is not based on morality. Therefore, this topic is morality. There is no, we're gonna run out of animals because of this. Actually, I don't know if you know, but the companies that chop trees are the ones that plant the most trees. Not the environmental protection programs. No, they don't. It's actually the businesses that chop the trees down, the ones that plant the most. So yeah, they pollute and everything, but they're the ones who plant the most trees. And maybe the brands that test their products in animals, they're the safest. Yes, there are businesses that have a great image. A great image because they don't hurt any animals. They use already tested products. And somehow, which I think will just be dumb, they only use products that have never been tested in the history of humanity, which I doubt there is one, in animals. So, as I said, there is a lot of morality involved, but just I want to try to express why I'm like my opinion too. Like, yeah, I know I said I wasn't gonna express which side I am on, which is pretty clear at this point. That the animal cruelty has to be done and was done at a certain time, and people will say, yes, but we have to be better than we were before, because before we didn't know things that we know now. Maybe today we don't know things that we will know later, and because of the animal testing, we are able to advance as humanity. Animals have been a great use of society, a big use on science, a big use on medicine, a big use on cosmetics, even clothing. Okay? Maybe some of the things are not morally correct. But what happened with fur? Before we couldn't make synthetic fur. Like we couldn't make something that looked like it came from an animal, but it really didn't. Like, we couldn't. It was just so hard. But now we can. It's super easy. It's like fake leather. Let's go. We will probably advance to a point where we don't need animals to test our products. And every time we need less animals to test our products. But there once was an animal there, like Rolf, sitting in their tiny plastic thing, about to be tortured by a product that caused a rash. And they noticed the rash, and then the product was modified, therefore serving to millions of girls, or even boys that use makeup, worldwide, so that they could achieve whatever they want to achieve with makeup. So, yeah, if I have to conclude in some small words, in very little words, I would say that stopping animal cruelty, it is something that we're not near doing. And you shouldn't see someone like with a brand that kills animals and just go ahead and say, do you know that you're killing animals just by eating that? There's many products that we use in real life that maybe you can say, yeah, but that I cannot avoid using. Great, but it fits into the same thing. animal cruelty. It is things like that rule our society. The fact that we cannot say certain things can and certain things cannot do something when they are pretty similar. Vaccines are tested on animals so that they don't harm humans. Cosmetics are tested on animals so that they don't harm humans. Therefore, there's people that decide not to use vaccines, which sucks. Like, man, yeah, vaccinate yourselves. There's people that doesn't need to use makeup, and that is when the factor of change comes. It is not whether they use, it is not whether they torture the animals or not. It is whether you just choose to feel good with yourself. If you're using animal products that are related to animal cruelty or not. And I leave that to you. Congratulations if you are spreading the message, not forcing people into anything, not spreading any false information. Congratulations. Just make sure that it doesn't go against you. If you're supporting the message hardly, you are supporting the message hardly. You are going through it. You're gonna make a change about it. I don't post a lot of stories about because, for example, BLM, I just stay quiet. BLM is a good movement. It has its backlashes, but the message behind it is okay. But I didn't post anything because I wasn't gonna be an active member of the BLM movement. Okay, I live in Mexico. It's like barely a lot of problem about that here. So yeah, I leave it to you. Please try to consider what you heard on this podcast. And I wish you a very good day. Thank you for listening to this. I'll see you guys on the next time. Bye.